Oh yeah. Wow. Wow. Oh, dude skis. So I just got done with Heilung. I can't even begin. I think the ritual was about 2 hours. I can't even begin to explain what I am going through, but you have to see me like this right now to know, to at least see it on my nervous system. Oh, it's good. I got clips from every song, but for the most part, I kept it quiet. Right, snapped a few pictures here and there, grabbed a few seconds of each song. Otherwise, I was immersed in the moment, part of the ritual, right? And they kicked it off with Invasion, so I got to roll my Futhark chops as I chanted along, and very good with the runes, but very hard for me to be fluent with with basically running it through like Magian does. The only song I would have loved to have heard that they didn't play was Marduk. Other than that, I was happy with everything. Got to hear Tenets and Anawana and Himya Hipyer. It's a seated only venue, so it's very hard to like. For the moment, it was a largely seated affair, right? I mean, you could have stood if people, I guess, didn't have the greatest problems with it. After I stood through one song, a guy, asked me to sit down because his view was shit. So, kept it down, and then by the time Him Your Hipper came on, it was just like, can I stand up for this one? It was just like, yeah, it's all right, and like within like 30 seconds of me standing up, everybody else is fucking standing up for Him Your Hipper anyway. Only a couple of people that are just too weak to stand, like didn't stand. But like the whole house, every able standable person was standing, as far as I could see. I don't know about the balcony section, but I'm sure most of them were. Everything was just so fucking perfect. If you've heard Lifa, I think that this performance was even more perfect and more beautiful than Lifa. Huh. Hearing Maria hit all those fucking notes, especially those goddamn high notes. There was some fascinating ritual shit using Nornic ritual energy with the unwinding of something in a counterclockwise fashion. There was an interesting binding and slaying of some sort of I suppose, a warrior woman, and then being freed and raised, or raised and freed, one of the two. I think it was raised. Yeah, raised first and then freed. That was some fascinating shit. for Tenet, they had the guys that had everything except for Tenet, like written on their backs and their fronts, and they had a cycle while going through Tenet. And then every once in a while, the lead, he would open up his cloak while his back is turned to the audience, and it says Tenet. It's a black cloak, but he's it's like a blue light or something like that, because Tenet in the runes is glowing, and it looked beautiful, and it's like, oh. There was some amazing circle ritual kind of dance routines going on with the shield and spear work. Some stuff that's very cool that I don't think I've seen in any other kinds of performances, but maybe a handful similar. Depending on how much ritual magic is involved in the performance. Not every band doing that thing is doing straight up ritual. They may be doing a little bit of ritual, but for the most part, they've just got an inspiring idea of a performance. There was a fire dancer who had antlers that were on fire, and yeah, I think that she was doing like an interpretive dance thing. I think she was supposed to be like an elegant deer or something to that effect, or an elk, taking these bows and these graceful gestures, and so all of that was incredibly awesome. It seems like one of the things they did is that like the ladies were like topless, but they were painted with dirt on their torsos, and either the dirt was covering up their nipples sufficiently, or they may have had some sort of bandage on or something like that, because they were completely bare-chested, but I don't think I saw anything. So that monicum of modesty, perhaps. I'm not sure. I do not have the heart to stare under these more sacred circumstances. A very cool effect they had is that there's the big center drum, which is like facing you, right? It's an upright, vertical drum, and that drum is also got backlighting involved with it, and so all sorts of magical shit pops up on it. And the first thing that they pop up with that drum, and that's also at the end and some other times, is they have it this fire glow kind of orange, and it looked exactly like the sun through the eclipse filters. If you're looking at the sun with the eclipse glasses on, and I said, like, that looks like my pictures of the eclipse. And so I noticed on their tour they had lots of breathing time in between the performances. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a very private, perhaps just for themselves, ritual. Imagine that fucking band just went out in the woods somewhere. Just went out in the fucking woods and just made a fucking racket for 2 hours during a fucking solar eclipse somewhere along the path of totality near one of their fucking things. Like that's my imagination. That's my absolute imagination on the matter. It was incredible to watch the drummers, because the drummers were so just in the rhythm. It's just like they dance in the rhythm, and it's all part of the grace in which they strike that drum, right? There is a grace, a masculine grace that is awesome to behold. The way that you're doing that, the certain way that your arm goes from the up to the down, right? And the other various instruments he held throughout the course of that in the percussives, right? You know, you're banging on swords and stuff as some of your percussion instruments. I mean, it's so amazing. It was just so fucking something else. And it's quite something that they came to a place like this here in Hartford, right? And let's be for real. Like, Hartford's a city, New York is a city, sure. Hartford is not such a dense, crazy, industrialized city, right? Hartford is more kind of on the corporate side, and also there's it's very easy access to nature. It's that you don't go too far before it gets rural, and you're back in a stronger connection with Jordan, right? And honestly, so I think that's what it had to do with, because they could have played a fancy venue in New York. They could have done it. They probably could have fucking sold out a big house. And this was a big house. But they came to Hartford instead of New York. Instead of Boston. No, I think they are in Massachusetts, though. Are they in Boston? I can't remember. They might have just been, or will be next in Boston. I can't remember. But yeah, this was not a very big tour, right? There was a lot of space in between gigs. Which just tells me that, like they probably have expunged a tremendous amount of prana, right? Of energy. They've revved up the chi, right? They're gonna need a few days of some deep vibrations, some sitting down in lotus pose for a hot minute. Because you gotta integrate all that and settle it into your nervous system and fucking recharge. Fucking charge. And me being the Aries that I am, I was the first guy in the venue to yell "Skull," like at a time where it counted. One guy called back on "Skull," and then might have been the same guy. And then like just before things got quiet for like the final bit, when they're closing down. Just before everybody got quiet, I was just like, "To Valhalla," and I think there was the same guy said, "To Valhalla." So that was me. I threw Skull and Valhalla, and nobody else did. Except for the guy that responded each time. But the crowd. I think the Life video, is great, because just like you hear the crowd reacting to Heilung as you're watching this incredible performance, and you can tell that the crowd is doing the same primal howls as the group is, right? it being this kind of appropriate celebratory after the performance of a piece. Oh man, there's something. So there's something real magic about like that. Being understood. It's just like when a song, hits an end and it starts kind of going a bit wild. Go wild with it. Be part of that. That's your cue from the shaman to be like, do it. And so I've not ever been to something like this. It reminded me of because of just what's natural to my composure, to my posture, when I am in this kind of energetics and references and knowing what certain postures in the energetics mean on the highest level, and knowing that this is about God. It's primal church. The same invocation in Litha is made about the one great being. It was all there. Like, just like in church, it's just like I was going along with the prayer. Right? But but this is the real deal. The real deal of the higher force, of the creator and creatress. And that's what was so cool about it, right? It's just like the feel good I could remember in my naivete as a born-again Christian with the worship music. But now I get to have that experience in the authentic instead of the imitation that I used to get when I looked to the born-again Christians for my spirituality, when I wanted to have no more to do with Catholicism. Yeah, tremendous things etched upon, the heart, right? And just revel in the frequency and the emotion and the wave of the life force energy that just came from all of it. And to take away something that opens up from within you, that the music and the ritual and performance of it all just unlocks, and that primordial unconscious level. Oh yeah. The energy there was really good. It was really, really good. Definitely wasn't a New York energy. Definitely was important that it wasn't a New York energy, I think. Something coming from people that aren't so much on the mind. And I'm sure a lot of people from New York went up there. But that location is a neat fucking place to do it. You're going to be really invested in the show if you're going all the way out to fucking Hartford. So, dude, Hartford is some bullshit. There ain't nothing in Hartford unless there's an event in Hartford. Because all Hartford is a place to host events and places for insurance companies to lobby the government. That's all Hartford, Connecticut is. Welcome to the Constitution State. Ain't nothing in there. All right. I'm going to take some more time to meditate on these rituals that I witnessed and participated in. Introspect on those meetings and extract pure gnosis. You guys have a kick-ass night. See you later.